I never saw it coming. Walking into the gleaming new corner office on my first day under Marcus Ellery's leadership, full of nervous excitement, only to have my world upended a month later when I suggested a modest raise for my team. But let me back up a bit, because what followed was anything but ordinary. I'd worked at Novatech Consulting for 8 years, climbing from junior analyst to director of client relations. In my tenure, I'd closed countless deals, mentored dozens of associates, and built relationships with some of the company's biggest clients. When our longtime CEO retired and the board tapped Marcus, an outsider with a reputation for disruptive growth, I was cautiously optimistic. He'd inherited a company primed for expansion. I was confident he'd recognize the value of the people who'd built Novatech into a 7-figure operation. On day one, Marcus strode into the morning all-hands meeting, wearing an impeccably tailored suit and an infectious grin. "Team Novatech," he said, voice ringing through the hall. "I'm here to scale you up, double revenue, triple impact, and redefine consulting for the 21st century." He paused, let that sink in, then added, "But here's the thing, you folks are the fuel in this engine. We grow together, or we crash alone." There were nods, a few tentative smiles. I found myself thinking, finally a leader who gets it. In the weeks that followed, Marcus instituted daily huddles, asked every director to present a 3-month acceleration plan, and even sat in on client calls. I liked his energy. He listened, and he listened hard. By month 2, we'd landed a massive pitch with Vesta Global, a potential $60 million, 3-year retainer to advise on their digital transformation. The Vesta team was impressed by our track record, but even more by the cohesion and morale within Novatech's ranks. They'd spoken to associates in Coffee 101 and overheard genuine enthusiasm about our new CEO. Marcus had made Novatech feel like a family again, and families, Vesta said, were the secret to sustainable, honest partnerships. It was during that heady period that I broached the subject, compensation. My team's stellar performers all had been batting above their billing rates for months without a raise or bonus. When I ran the numbers, the revenue increase they'd driven in Q1 alone could justify a 5-7% salary adjustment. I scheduled a one-on-one with Marcus. I walked into his office, floor-to-ceiling windows, Manhattan skyline in the background, armed with spreadsheets, charts, and client testimonials. His assistant offered me coffee. I declined. This was a serious ask. I took a seat across from him, cleared my throat, and said, "Marcus, I want to talk about investing in the team that just delivered this." I tapped the Vesta proposal on his desk, and hundreds of other successes. "If we don't reward them, we risk losing them." He leaned back, steepled his fingers. For a moment, the air hummed with possibility. Then he exhaled and said, "I appreciate your passion, Alex, but raises aren't how I operate. I believe in performance-based incentives, bonuses tied to real metrics. Salaries stay flat until you prove you can't live without someone." I blinked. Performance-based is fine, but so far this quarter they've exceeded every KPI. The bonus pool will be massive, but if we hold salaries flat, those bonuses become expectations, not rewards. Marcus's jaw clenched. "I understand your concern, but I need to manage headcount costs tightly. We're scaling, we need flexibility. A larger bonus pool is more variable cost, safer for the company." I leaned forward. "But we risk attrition. We're already seeing recruiters poke around. I've heard whispers that some leads are in confidential talks with headhunters." He cooled. "If anyone's going anywhere, they'll leave no bigger hole than they already fill. We can replace them with contract consultants at lower rates." I felt a cold knot tighten in my chest. Contractors lack the institutional knowledge and client relationships these folks bring. The cost of churn, loss of billable hours, training, reputational harm will far outstrip the incremental raise. Marcus's smile was thin. "I'm going to pass on the raises," he said flatly. "Let's revisit bonuses in 6 months." That afternoon, the announcement came over email. No salary increases, but an expanded performance bonus program. I forwarded it to my team with a note. "I fought for you. We've got a robust bonus plan. Keep pushing. I believe in you." They responded with polite thanks, but I could see the disappointment in their eyes. A week later, it happened. Vesta Global called off the deal. The official reason was strategic realignment, but behind the scenes their CFO told people Novatech's internal discord and unwillingness to support key talent had shaken their confidence. Without my team's enthusiasm, Vesta said, they didn't trust we could deliver. Gone. $60 million evaporated. I found Marcus in the hallway that afternoon. My heart pounded like a drum. "Marcus, we lost Vesta," I said, voice low. His face betrayed neither surprise nor regret, just a practiced calm. "Yes," he replied. "They had internal changes. It wasn't about us." I felt blood rush to my ears. "Not about us." They explicitly cited our refusal to invest in the team as a risk factor. He walked away without another word. The next day, an email, staffing realignment. My name was at the top, demoted from Director of Client Relations to Senior Manager, with a reduction in bonus eligibility and a note that my performance would be reassessed in 90 days. It came from HR, Marcus's signature on the CC line. My mind churned. Betrayal is only the beginning of the story. After that comes choice. Do you fight or do you submit? Claire and Jenna had chosen to exclude me, to treat me as disposable. I couldn't accept that. I loved Claire. I believed in Hawthorne and Company, but I wouldn't be railroaded. My colleagues looked surprised. What happened, they'd ask. I'd shrug and say, company direction. But inside, I seethed. That evening, I sat alone in my small apartment, the city lights winking through the window. I replayed every moment, the Vesta pitch, the spreadsheet meeting, the polite refusal, the gutted deal. And I realized something. Marcus hadn't just demoted me, he'd underestimated me. He thought that by silencing my concerns, he could maintain perfect cost control. Instead, he'd lost the $60 million deal, and the trust and momentum of the entire team. I steeled myself. This was more than a demotion. It was a challenge. If Marcus believed I would fade quietly into the ranks, he hadn't met me yet. The next morning, I showed up early. Before the sun had even hit the horizon, I was in the lobby, grabbing coffee, greeting security guards by name. At 7:30, I found my team in the break room, nursing lattes and scowling at muted computer screens. I walked up to each of them. Good morning. How are we feeling today? They gave me half smiles, but I saw their loyalty glimmer beneath the exhaustion. They still believed in Novatech and in me. Over the next week, I set up 5 off-the-record lunches with each senior associate. I listened to their frustrations, their fears, and most importantly, their ideas for how to salvage Vesta and learn from the setback. I stopped by the finance team to ask about modeling alternative pricing structures. I reached out to an old Vesta contact, off the books, to express regret and ask if there was a pathway back. There wasn't, but they appreciated the humility. By week 2, the word had spread I was rallying the troops, not sulking in my office. One of the senior analysts confided, Alex, we've never seen this level of authenticity. You're not afraid to stand up for us. That struck me. At my core, I wasn't a director of client relations. I was someone who believed in people, and people believed in me. In the meantime, Marcus's daily check-ins became less about strategy and more about status updates. His growth engine rhetoric started to ring hollow when he realized the engine relied on people, not just processes. His charisma gave way to thinly veiled irritation. If you looked closely, you could almost see him recalculating his approach. On a Thursday afternoon, I got an unexpected ping from Vesta's former sponsor. Alex, the message read, saw your note. We're in exploratory talks again, and there's a window for a boutique engagement. $5 million to test the new model. Can you lead? My heart leapt. A chance to prove that the team could still deliver, and that leadership mattered more than cost-cutting edicts. I scheduled a call with Marcus for first thing Friday. In our meeting, I laid it out, a lean pilot program with Vesta, staffed entirely by my core team, promised deliverables in 90 days, and an option to scale up if successful. I had the numbers, the plan, even a draft agreement. It was everything he said he wanted: variable, low, risk, high potential upside. He listened, arms crossed, then he leaned forward, index finger tapping his notepad. I've already signed off on a smaller engagement with another firm. We're diversifying our portfolio. No room for Vesta. My chest tightened. Marcus, Vesta was our marquee deal. They would have given us the runway to close the mid-market clients you're chasing now. If we limp along with smaller contracts, we'll never hit the growth targets you promised the board. He sighed, looked away. Board's happy with the new line of business. They want breadth. I swallowed. Breadth without depth is hollow. Look at the numbers. That test program brings in more margin per consultant than any other account. He stood, signaling the meeting was over. I appreciate your perspective, Alex, but my decision stands. I nodded, voice measured. Understood. I'll transition the Vesta pilot to operations. He gave me a curt nod and walked out. I sat there, heavy with frustration, but also alive with the knowledge that the battle was far from over. I had a team behind me, a plan in hand, and the respect of our greatest prospects. Marcus might hold the title, but the real power in any company lies in the people who choose to go above and beyond, especially when leaders won't. That evening, I sent a message to every member of my core group: meet me at the rooftop bar at 6 p.m. It's time we take things into our own hands. When they arrived, there was a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism on their faces. I clinked my glass, looked around at their determined expressions, and said, "Look, Marcus doesn't get it. He's playing checkers. We play chess. Let's show him what true leadership looks like." They laughed, the tension melting into camaraderie. Over craft cocktails and the twinkling city lights, we sketched out our next moves, reaching back to old clients, refining our pilot proposal, and even quietly pitching a new, independent premium service under my own banner. Nova Prime Consulting, powered by exactly the team Marcus had undervalued. By the time last call rolled around, we'd forged a pact. We'd prove our worth so loudly that the board would have no choice but to elevate us, or they'd watch us walk away with the expertise, the clients, and the reputation they couldn't replace. As I walked home under the neon glow of Midtown, I felt something I hadn't felt in days. Not because Marcus would change, but because we would. Because when leaders fail to invest in people, people find other leaders. And in that moment, I resolved not just to reclaim my title, but to redefine leadership itself, one deal, one raise recommendation, and one $60 million lesson at a time. I arrived at the rooftop bar just as the sun's last rays bled into the skyscrapers, the glow of office lights taking their place. My core team, 5 of the sharpest, hardest-charging people I'd ever worked with, were already gathered around a high table near the edge, overlooking the city. There was Marcus in our peripheral vision, but tonight he was out of the picture. Tonight, we were Nova Prime. I raised my glass. To Plan B, I said, voice carrying across the table, let's show them what we're made of. They clinked their glasses with mine. Sarah, our analytics guru, Dev, the client relations ace, Layla, the marketing whiz, Jorge, the operations mastermind, and Mia, our rising star project manager. Around that table, each of us felt the same excitement. We were about to build something real, powered by our own conviction. Okay, I said, settling my glass and leaning forward. Here's the play. Step 1, reconvene with Vesta Global. We'll pitch the $5 million pilot, armed with fresh insights from our consultant check-ins last week. Dev, you'll lead that touch point. Remind them why we were the best fit. Dev nodded. Already drafted the email. I'll reach out first thing tomorrow. Step 2, I continued, we'll soft launch Nova Prime's branded deck to 10 former mid-market clients. Layla, can you prep the collateral? Think boutique, think exclusive, no boilerplate slides. Layla tapped her tablet. On it, I've scoped a microsite landing page 2 by Tuesday. Step 3, I said, we secure an at-risk consulting partner to backstop us. Jorge, your contact at Pulse Advisory, can you close that in 48 hours? Jorge cracked his knuckles. Consider it done. They're hungry to move fast. Step 4, I said, we call the board. We'll inform them Novatech's ex-director of client relations is leading a $5 million pilot that they declined. We want to bring that business and the team back under Novatech's umbrella, or we go independent and let them chase shadows. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Public pressure. Nice. I nodded. Exactly. If they want to freeze us out, they risk watching us win without them. Mia grinned. High stakes. I like it. We toasted again, then dove into the finer points. Who drafts the pitch? What KPIs will promise Vesta? Which legal entity to use for contracting? As the city lights shimmered below, I felt the old thrill, that perfect blend of risk and possibility that had propelled me here in the first place. Monday, 9:02, aim my inbox, pinged with Dev's subject line. Vesta pilot, reignite conversation. He'd already sent the carefully worded note, praising Novatech's methodology and hinting at our new boutique arm, Nova Prime, as the ideal, nimble partner to test their digital channels. Within minutes, a reply, call me at 10 a.m. Let's talk details. I exhaled. Good start. 10, Nozersa, Dalebol, video call. I slipped into the Zoom room, Dev at my side, Sarah monitoring analytics that we'd compiled. On the other end, faces from Vesta's strategy team, CFO, CTO, head of digital. Their expressions ranged from polite curiosity to thin, veiled surprise. Alex, Dev. The CFO began. Thank you for reaching out. Obviously, we were disappointed the first time. But your follow-up? Intriguing. He paused, as if letting the word hang. You mentioned Nova Prime. That's a new name, I smiled. Yes, we've formed a small elite unit within Novatech. Nova Prime, with focused expertise in pilot innovations. We run lean, iterate fast, and provide full transparency. We'd love to take the pilot you once offered us and deliver within your timelines and budget. The CTO leaned forward. We need to see specifics: scope, deliverables, timeline, cost structure. Dev took the floor, walking them through our revised approach: a modular 3-phase pilot, light audit, low-code MVP, rapid deployment, total cost $4.5 million. Sarah clicked over analytics, showing cost per user, conversion lifts, predictive ROI. We fielded their questions expertly, demonstrating our agility. By the end, the CFO sighed, half smile forming. This is compelling. I'd like to propose an internal review. Can you submit the formal proposal by tomorrow evening? If all goes well, we'll sign by end of week. Absolutely, I replied. My heart pounded. You'll have it by 5 p.m. tomorrow. They logged off, leaving Dev and me staring at each other. Holy, he murmured. I gave a short laugh. That's step 1. Tuesday, 4:45 p.m. Layla's email hit my inbox. Nova Prime Deck plus Microsite Live. I clicked the link. The site was crisp. Nova Prime Consulting Pilots Worth Scaling. Underneath, our faces, our mission, a simple form: request an innovation partner call. I tested the form. My own email popped into our CRM. Perfect. Layla joined my office. Within the first hour, we've had 3 inbound requests from a health tech startup, a retail chain, and our old friends at Crestmore Insurance. I rubbed my temples. Good. Route them through our sales funnel quietly. Let's see which deals can close faster than Vesta. She beamed. On it. Wednesday, 10 double, AIM Jorge called in a Pulse advisory partner, Natalia Singh, via chat. Natalia, I typed, could Nova Prime lease your 6-member team in late June for a renewable 1-month contract? We'll need your senior systems architect and 2 project managers. Natalia replied, Alex, we've been waiting for an excuse. You have the green light. I starred the message. Perfect. Let's draft the MSA today. Thursday, 9:15, AIM to the board subject, urgent regaining strategic growth, Nova Prime pilot. Dear members of the executive committee, I hope this message finds you well. After our recent loss of the Vesta Global engagement, I saw an opportunity to demonstrate our team's proven value. Today at 10, AIM Nova Prime Consulting, comprising Novatech alumni and our top performers, presented a $4.5 million pilot to Vesta, who indicated they will move forward with a signature by Friday. Our success in securing this pilot underlines the strength of our internal talent and the importance of ongoing investment in our people. I propose we bring the Nova Prime team back under Novatech Consulting as a dedicated innovation arm, restoring our original Vesta deal at the full $60 million scope upon successful pilot completion. I am available to discuss this further at your earliest convenience. Warm regards, Alex Bennett, Senior Manager, Nova Prime Consulting. Hit send. Then I paced outside my office, rehearsing potential replies: supportive, skeptical, hostile. Friday, 8 my phone. Vibrated, board meeting confirmed, 1 p.m. today. And another ping, Vesta Global Engagement Letter attached. Bold, my heart leapt. They signed, the pilot was ours. I sat at my desk, head in my hands. Plan B was going unbelievably well. But the board meeting would be the crucible. Would they endorse bringing Nova Prime fully into Novatech, or bury us and leave us to our boutique fate? Friday, 1 p.m., boardroom, Novatech HQ. The room was colder than usual, glass walls, polished mahogany table. Marcus sat at the head, expression neutral. Around the table, the board chair, the CFO, HR head, a couple of outside directors. I stood at the front position, my laptop open, slide deck queued. Behind me on the screen, the bold Nova Prime logo. Thank you for seeing me, I began, voice steady. In 4 days, my team secured a $4.5 million pilot from Vesta Global, an engagement Novatech turned down, resulting in a $60 million opportunity loss. Today, I present a plan to integrate Nova Prime as Novatech's innovation division, recapture the Vesta opportunity at scale, and drive an incremental $200 million in revenue over 3 years. I clicked ahead. Slide 1, Executive Summary. Slide 2, Pilot Details and Vesta Letter of Intent. Slide 3, Scaling to Full Engagement. Slide 4, Financial Projections and ROI. As I walked them through, I saw eyes flick from Marcus to me, curiosity peaked. At the end, I closed the laptop. "This isn't about me," I said. "It's about showing the board how powerful our team can be when invested in Nova Prime's success. Demonstrates that variable bonuses aren't enough without recognition of core talent." My proposal: convert the Nova Prime unit into Novatech's official innovation division, with dedicated headcount budget and a 5% annual salary increase pool for that division's top performers, funded by pilot margins. Silence settled. The board chair cleared his throat. "Alex, this is impressive. The numbers check out, but absorption into Novatech means restructuring budgets, renegotiating existing contracts. It's not a small ask." I nodded. "I understand. That's why I've already drafted the revised org chart and budget reallocation plan. No net increase in headcount, simply reassigning our current roster and leveraging the Pulse Advisory partnership. We can onboard Vesta under Novatech's brand, avoiding contract fragmentation." The CFO interjected. "And the incremental profit? You project a 20% margin on the pilot, scaling to 25% on the full engagement." "Exactly," I replied. "Margins grow as we optimize internal processes and leverage analytics automation." I tapped the slide graphs, showed profit curves climbing sharply with scale. Marcus leaned forward, a rare hint of pride in his eyes. "Alex, I was skeptical," raised eyebrows when you pulled the Nova Prime deck, "but I can't argue with results." He looked at the board. I moved to approve the integration of Nova Prime as Novatech's innovation division as presented. There was a moment of tension, then nods all around. The HR head spoke. "We'll coordinate salary adjustments and revise job codes. Legal will handle contract amendments." The board chair added, "Excellent, I'll draft the resolution." I exhaled so deeply, I almost sagged, but then they all smiled, and applause rippled around the table. For a moment I locked eyes with each board member, the CFO, the legal counsel, even Marcus, who gave me the briefest nod of respect. When the meeting adjourned, Marcus stood and approached me. He extended his hand. "Well done, Alex." I took it, feeling firm strength in his grip. "Thank you. Looking forward to scaling." He gave a half smile. "You earned it." Epilogue: 3 months later, I stood in the Innovation Division's new open-plan office, furniture in warm wood, walls splashed with Nova Prime's teal accent color. My team bustled around me, Sarah updating a dashboard, Dev prepping a client slide, Layla brainstorming campaign visuals. Our first milestone with Vesta, Phase 1 of the digital channel pilot, had exceeded KPI targets by 45%, and the board greenlit the full $60 million rollout. Marcus dropped by, headset in hand. "Alex," he said, "great work on the pilot debrief. I've invited you to co-present at next week's Investor Day." I grinned. "Happy to." He glanced around, then added, "You've changed the game here. I hope we keep pushing together." I nodded, feeling the weight of my original demotion melting away. Together. That evening, as the sun set once more over the city, I took a moment on that same rooftop bar, now overlooking an office building emblazoned with Novatech Consulting, Innovation Division. I raised a glass on the fence, to my team, to the $60 million deal we reclaimed, and to every leader who learns that true power lies in lifting people up, not cutting them down. Because in the end, it wasn't just about winning a deal or reclaiming a title. It was about proving that when you invest in people, when you back their raises, trust their talents, and let them own their excellence, you don't just land $60 million contracts. You build something far more valuable, a legacy of loyalty, innovation, and unbreakable ambition.